Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our strength where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back to another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I'm here with Cody, and also, as Tyler calls him, Bill Burge. Or is it Brian Burge? Brian Burge.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Bill Burge. Cody, do you think Brian looks like Bill Burr?
You know, I never thought about it. Can you shave for me, Brian? I actually feel like it might be that. I feel like I need to see your jaw structure better.
Oh no, I don't think I have the same jaw structure. He kind of has a butt chin, doesn't he?
You have a butt face.
Oh, good one.
Got him.
Got me.
I just feel like,
Boys.
but maybe Bill Burr has like stubble, but he doesn't have a beard. I just feel like I need.
He
more.
does have a beard.
I thought
Does
he had a
he?
beard too.
He
I
definitely
thought
has
it
a
was just
beard.
like
He's
stubble.
been rocking a beard now.
Okay.
Dude, you're like
Hey,
still
he's in
thinking of
Star
Bill
Wars.
Burr back from like Chappelle Show.
Probably
He's
am.
in
Bill Burr
Star
was on.
Wars?
He was in Mandalorian. Bill Burr was on Chappelle Show.
Yeah, he was on Chappelle Show. He was on a lot of episodes. I think he even did the guest host when like Chappelle went to Africa or whatever. And he was the Craps host when Ashy Larry was on there.
Speaking of beards, boys, I shaved.
Oh, you
You
did.
can't tell.
It's there, but it's gone.
It looks
Okay.
good though. It looks good. How are you feeling?
I actually think I might go for this for a little bit, man. I think
Okay.
the beard was making me, with long hair and beard, you start feeling like you're in an episode of Survivor.
You throw on the beanie and you get the hipster vibe going.
It's messy. It's
Cody,
messy.
man, he has been wearing the beanie and the hipster vibe since like 7th grade.
Man, I should start getting the stash going to go with it. Maybe even some.
It's about to be
curlies.
November.
Yeah, and I finally shave.
Yeah.
I've literally been rocking the beard probably since February, or my attempt of a beard.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as luscious as Bill Burr down below us, but hey,
That's
or
what he
yours.
thinks.
Yours is thick.
Me?
Yeah.
All Brian does is knock my beard.
It's because it looks like pubic hair.
Isn't that what a beard is?
No.
Oh.
It is when we're young boys, so leave us alone.
What kind of weird question was that?
Brian,
Oh,
What
okay.
happened
Let's
today,
just
dude?
move along.
what happened?
So finishing up at school today, get a call from my mom, and it was funny because I was in the middle of texting her to ask her if she'd pick me up a pizza.
And just for the record, everyone, he sent us some pictures with no explanation on this, and he was
Because
like,
I didn't think they
David-
needed explanation. So anyway,
David
she
for the
calls me
show.
and says, "When do you get done with school?" And I was like, "Well, we just got done. This is at 2:15." And she said, "Well, I need you to come over." And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, "Oh my God, did Ellie swallow a magnet or
Is she
some
hurt?
Legos
Yeah.
up her nose, or is she at the hospital? What is it?" She's like, "I need you to come here right away." Ellie drew all over the carpet and the walls and the whole house with Sharpie. And, you know, my first thought is like, how did she get a Sharpie? And my second thought is like, how did nobody stop her? So all those questions were answered later. But Mario, do you have the pictures ready? Because this
No,
is
I-
a great. What do
I
you
didn't-
mean, no?
What do you mean?
They're
You
in
have a
Drive.
computer?
They're in the art folder. I don't have a mouse.
Oh, you put them in the art folder?
They're in the art folder.
Did you mention this?
Oh.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Oh my God, amateur hour out here. This
So
is
while he's
good.
getting it, give us what you walked into.
So anyway, I walked in thinking it was going to be like nothing. And it was like everywhere in the house. and it was on the kitchen floor. It was on walls. It was on all the wooden doors. It was on the carpet, which was probably the worst part of it, which maybe one day Mario will get pulled up for us. Yeah, that's it on the carpet. And that's only one of the like 2 spots that it was at. And you can see the Hungry Hungry Hippos, and like literally everything else, every other toy was just covered in black Sharpie.
And this is just her, huh?
This is just
this
Ellie.
is just
So,
Ellie.
yeah. So they're the wood door and the wall
this
there.
is at your childhood home.
This is at my childhood home. This is at Elizabeth's house.
And that's where your mom watches all the kids there.
And so I thought this would be a good birth control PSA for everybody watching, all 0 of them. Here's the 2
Are those tablets?
Yeah. And you can see the ottoman also has a bunch of
the tablets could easily be fixed.
Yeah, the tablets were actually like the easiest thing that rinsed off. Well, I don't want to say rinsed off. The carpet was really sketchy, and I think we're gonna have to paint the walls. But everything else was pretty good.
Did the door come off?
The what?
The door?
The door came off really easily with some nail polish remover. I mean, it might have like hurt the wood.
That's probably is that what you did for the tablets? Because that's what I would suggest for those.
The wood's super old, like at least 30 years old. So it came off really easy on that.
This is not 2 minutes worth of work. Like she put some time into this.
Yeah. So I actually asked my mom, I'm like, where did she get a marker? And she's like, oh, I think it was on the kitchen table. And so I go, okay, well, where's the marker now? And there's just a freaking Sharpie with no cap sitting on the table still. I'm like, why would you put it right back where it got grabbed from? And she's like, oh, I fell asleep. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that makes some sense.
Bad luck. So yeah, that was a fun trip over, I guess.
Can you imagine
before my sister came home
when she woke up?
Oh my God, I can't. It was like when I woke up hearing Ellie sliding down the basement steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like crying, I'm pretty sure.
Your mom was?
Yeah.
See, Asher's good about it because if I fall asleep, all he does is start stacking toys on me. Like he woke me up on Saturday. I was taking a nap and he woke me up because I literally just had like Lego blocks around my whole head and they were now collecting on my face. When I finally woke up.
He's gonna be the dude at the party that like you pass out, you got penis on your forehead.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, dude, Ellie just comes and slaps me in the face. She says, "Wake up!" and then she grabs my eyelids and pulls them open.
Oh my God!
She's a monster.
All right. Well, speaking of pulling eyelids, we have had some pretty stressful games and lame scoring performances through 3 weeks. Fantasy football has not been fun to, well, myself mostly, but I think everybody right now. Not you might be 3-0 and still be pissed about some of the performances your guys are getting. So as we travel on to week 4, are we going to see some things differently? Before we get into that, let's hop into some injury updates, concerns. First piece, another week, quad injury for CMC. He did not practice today. This is the most we've seen every week, injury from CMC. We have not seen him miss a practice, I don't think, until this one. Cody, do you have concerns? First question. Second question, is it worth rostering Chuba or Donta? I never know. Deonta. It's just pronounced the same. It's spelled Donta.
Well, it's
I think it's
apostrophe.
Anyways,
I guess my first reaction is I think this is just CMC par for the course. And I know he did miss a practice now, but I guess I'm not quite at the point of hitting the panic button. If you own CMC, I think this is pick up the handcuff time. I think it's enough. So you don't think so?
It's just they're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chuba was not worth rostering last year. I
mean, as bad as they've been, CMC's still top 12.
So it's also worth noting that there were some like follow-up tweets to this one. One saying that the Panthers are very concerned about this quad, or more concerned than they're letting on. And the other one was that whenever CMC hasn't practiced, he's still been like out there watching practice, and that wasn't the case today. Now, this is obviously just looking too much into little details, I'm sure. Like
it's Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday. But this is why I didn't draft him.
feel you, Brian. I feel you.
So
Zach,
if let me ask you this: if is it for you not a standard that if your starter who's a bell cow is injured that
team.
you would pick up? Okay.
Carolina is just the bottom.
No, they're not.
right
I
now.
agree. No, I agree with
Yeah.
that. I just was curious.
And
where
they're
you kind of stood on
definitely
that.
using him differently than they have in the past.
Well,
Not
and
that
also
much
if the
receiver.
backups were good, like the
Yeah.
Bears, I don't consider. I know they're 2-1. I don't consider them a good team. But if I had Montgomery, I would have handcuffed Khalil in a lot. I have Khalil standalone in a few leagues,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that paid because he just looks good. There's a couple other guys that are like that. Chuba and Deontay are not ones that I'm necessarily gonna be.
Yeah, they might even split.
That'd be so gross.
That would be so gross.
So gross.
So Zach Wilson is back this week. I know we have it under the injury section. Do you guys want to just save that for when we get into the Jets? Talk about what that means for them.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Jameis Winston was not at practice today. Now, this has been an injury he's been dealing with for a couple of weeks. I think since week 2, maybe week 1. Do we have concerns? Because there's been some legitimate talks about Andy Dalton might be starting soon with this injury. Brian.
Yeah, so Andy Dalton took all the first team reps. Taysom Hill got some work as well at practice today. I think it was Winston himself said he's going to be playing this week, but, it's not always up to him. Something to just monitor as the week goes on. I think if Dalton or Taysom plays, you're probably going to downgrade the receivers quite a bit.
And, well, if Andy Dalton's the starter, I am upping Alvin Kamara. I'm serious. He's check down king.
Yeah, I think that's a good
but I don't
call
expect
for
him to throw too much. Oh, JT has a toe injury and he did not practice today. This is the first we're hearing of this.
It's his first missed practice.
First practice ever missed. I was about to say the same thing. Yep.
What?
I still think this is just I think it's the Wednesday, my dudes. I think
but
this
it's
is
JT. He's never even missed a practice in two years.
So?
Oh, no.
He's now a veteran.
No, he's never even missed a high school practice. Never missed a practice.
I didn't know that.
No concerns about this.
Yeah.
You do have concerns?
Well, I'm not going to say no concern.
Don't speak those words on this pod.
I don't know. It's hard for me to be at the point of saying I think he's going to miss because there's just not enough stuff. Are you feeling that? But I'm not excited. You're not excited about it, but
yeah. But if you guys didn't give me that little tidbit, I would have never known that.
So if he doesn't practice tomorrow, then I'm concerned because then it's like an injury
situation, right?
Well, then it's like an injury. We didn't hear about this injury during the game at all. So it's one that might have popped up, and then that makes it more scary to me because I feel like those are always the ones that linger forever.
What if he stubbed his toe like Robbie in the intro?
He probably did.
I also feel like there's not much like a lot of times when these guys miss a practice, they're like, oh, we're not worried about it. Like the Jameis thing. Like he comes out and says, like, I'm going to play. I don't feel like there's quite that much of a definitive, it's just a Wednesday. I feel like you would say that in this case. And I haven't necessarily seen that.
Well, if the dude has never missed a practice, right there is immediately elevated concern.
Yep.
That's where
I think he did yeah. And I think he's insinuated that it's not a thing, but it doesn't feel as definitive as sometimes it does when a guy misses a practice. Sometimes when they miss a practice, it's like, I'm good. I'm fine. I haven't necessarily felt that out of this situation.
David Montgomery is day to day. We haven't got much clarity on what this injury is. Did you guys see anything else?
I think David Montgomery is the king of avoiding scary leg injuries.
Which is fine and great.
Yeah, no, it is great for him. Last year, he had that MCL sprain that everybody was so sure it was a season ender. Mm-hmm. And then he was back 4 or 6 weeks later. So he's day to day. Yeah, like Mario said, we really haven't gotten any clarity outside of it's a knee/ankle injury. But ESPN, who I feel like is normally pretty good, not with projections, but projecting if people are going to play or not. They're already putting him for 0. So, that kind of leads me to believe that he's not playing this week.
Fire up Khalil Herbert.
For sure.
I don't know if we discussed that game today, but I'm interested.
For Sherbert. Yeah, we do. It's
Sherbert. That's
the
good.
5 throw-up symbols out of 4.
Sherbert's really good.
Jair Alexander and AJ Dillon were limited today. something to monitor. I'm not even going to get your guys' thoughts on that one.
Hold on, wait. No, you have to, because they brought in running backs to try out. Doesn't that make it a little bit more scary? Like if they're
limited on a
limited
Wednesday?
practice on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's not like
then why are they bringing in running backs to?
Are they worried that AJ Dillon's not that good?
Do you
I
know?
think yeah. Okay. No.
Yeah,
I think they're more worried they might not have one of them this week.
Who would be their third string? Do you guys know?
That's
No,
what
I
I'm
don't-
curious
Do they even
about.
have
Whoever
one?
that's what I was wondering, Cody. Maybe
Yeah.
there is an injury there or something that we're not paying attention
Right.
to. Tua and Waddle are questionable. T. Higgins was a full participant today. The Tua and Waddle as being questionable is all kind of based off of an estimation of practice reports. Am I wrong about that? Because I think they already arrived to Cincy today, and I don't believe they could practice yesterday due to this hurricane.
Oh, I guess I didn't think about that
Yeah,
when
the
I was
hurricane
reading
piece.
everything. But I will say that I think there's a 0% chance that Tua sits this week, just with the whole investigation around his concussion from last week. It would look real suspicious if he didn't play this week after coming back into that game last week when he was clearly concussed. And then they tried to
They say
play
it's
it
not
off
even a
like
head injury.
Yeah, they tried to say, well, when he left the game, they said it was a head injury, and then they switched it. They were like, oh, it was just a back injury. So I think it would look real suspicious if he didn't play this week. So I'm going to assume he plays this week.
It was pretty sus week for the NFL, man. Like T.
It
Higgins
was.
as well.
Oh, yeah, that T. Higgins one I think was even worse.
Yeah.
He didn't waddle getting up, but
True, but when that Waddle happened, I immediately thought it was his hip, which was more scary to me because that probably would have been like a career ender.
Real quick on the Packers, they're 4 stringers on the pup. So if AJ Dillon were not to go, it's Aaron Jones and Patrick Taylor. That's it.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor's little brother.
I
Don't
know if
believe.
he's
No,
kidding
don't
or
fall
not.
for it. No.
Take the bait.
It was so confident. DeAndre Swift unlikely to play this week. This is, I think it's very unlikely.
He's not.
pretty
I don't
much
think he's playing either.
Coach Speak is saying he needs to significantly improve. I don't expect to see DeAndre Swift back on until after the bye.
Fire up your Jamal Williams.
Fire him up.
I feel
See,
like there's a
Jamal's
lot of
one
hype
that I would.
surrounding. I shouldn't say hype, but I feel like a big ad this week was their third stringer, which surprised me a little bit. Does that
Who,
surprise
Craig
you?
He'll get
Reynolds?
some work. He'll probably get. I would say he would get probably 10 to 12 touches.
Is it still Craig Reynolds?
Yeah,
It is.
He did really well last year, actually, in the
did
time that
pretty
he
well.
got.
He was.
I think
And
they-
You should
I
have
got to
saw
give
them
more
debate-
credit to this offense being good. Like,
Yeah,
that's part
it's
of my
good.
head. Yeah.
And Jamal might just only be their like goal line guy. I mean, that's
You
kind
should
of
have saw
how
him
they
on Hard Knocks.
Reynolds.
With Craig. Yeah, they like it was him or I can't think of the other guy's name right now. And the other guy had this like natural speed that they really didn't want to get rid of, but Craig Reynolds was so good. They were like,
I think Craig
It
was
was
a
good debate.
undrafted free agent, wasn't he?
Don't know.
Or at least last year, I think he was a undrafted rookie
He's like-
free agent. So I
no,
think
he was
this is
last year.
his-
He wasn't a rookie. He's like
Okay,
25,
then-
26.
Okay. I still think he was a UDFA.
He might be. No way Mac Jones plays, right, boys?
No, but it is weird because like they say how severe it is, and then he acts like.
Well, did you see the Belichick
Day-to-day.
thing? It was like, if he doesn't play this week, Brian Hoyer is going to be our starter, which I feel like a fool because I just realized this. I picked up Bailey Zapp and I dropped Mike Gesicki in our dynasty league. And,
Why do you want those quarterbacks?
Because in case he's the next Tom Brady.
Oh my god!
And Gesicki's not doing anything for me. But then I was like, oh god, now Hoyer's going to be the starter. So I picked this guy up for nothing, and now I don't have a tight end.
Brian
There's
Hoyer.
no tight end.
Wait,
I have Isaiah Likely.
Oh,
You have no tight end.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to try and pick him back up. But I'm sure
my
one of you
favorite
guys are
part
going to
about
steal
all
him.
of that. Like
What?
when he said the line, like I dropped Gesicki, what's he gonna do for me? I thought, oh, he's his third tight end. Not the
Yeah.
case at all.
starter.
He's my starter in both leagues, unfortunately. He has been terrible, and
All tight ends have. Welcome
Yeah,
to the party,
but
at least.
he is like they're throwing to the tight end. It's just not him.
All right, let me run through some notables to just keep an eye on throughout the week. Rondell Moore is back. James Conner has his knee issue. Damian Pierce popped up with a hip issue. Miles Sanders with a hip issue. MG3, Melvin Gordon popped up with a neck issue. He was limited. Devonta Smith, back issue. Dalvin Cook, shoulder. Dalvin Cook one is more than a notable because I'm not even convinced that he plays this week.
He's got a torn labrum.
Does he?
Yeah, just like me, dude.
They said he has like issues with dislocated shoulders. We'll talk about it when we get to the game. So let's go to the Thursday night preview.
Before we go to that, I just want to touch on Rondale Moore because you brought up how Greg Dortch wasn't going to be a thing once DeAndre Hopkins comes back. But I think now that Rondale Moore's back, he's not going to be a thing.
I don't know.
Could be the case, but I actually rostered Dortch in quite a few places because I just want to see it. Like I'll cut bait quick. I'm not tied to it. I'll cut bait quick, but I just want to see.
I thought Rondale Moore was really good last year.
Dortch has been really good, man.
Dortch has been really good.
He's Tyler Fulgham.
Travis Fulgham. You always say that.
Exactly. I don't even remember his name. Next year, we're going to be calling this guy Greg Doshi.
Greg Doshi. Thursday night preview, Dolphins, Bengals. Brian, you think this is a high-scoring shootout?
I do. I marked this with my emoji of a skull because I think this could be a game that kind of gets out of hand and like, I don't know, maybe it's a Tyreek Hill 40-point game or something. Or I just think this is going to be a great game to watch. Dolphins defense could be kind of legit. That's the only thing I kind of wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts on were that, because outside of the game against Baltimore, they've kind of shut down everybody that they've played.
And honestly, Joe Burrow's had his good moments, but he's been quite mistake prone thus far.
Yeah, and their line is trash.
It's funny they made such an effort on their line, and I feel like it got worse.
It sure seems that way.
So I guess the only thing with Miami's defense is I have no clue what to expect. Like, I don't think they're bad by any means. I'm not ready to say they're great because they did well in Buffalo. That game was weird. It was 110 or something degrees. They played New England week 1. New England looked like a mess week 1. And then against Baltimore, which is the red hot team right now, they got destroyed, but they ended up winning, but destroyed defensively. So I don't know. I mean, when you put high scoring shootout, that is exactly what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for this to be one of the games. I hope this every Thursday night though, because we keep getting these kind of pretty good matchups. Like I want this to be it, man. I want to see 37-33 and likely we'll get 17-13 by the end of the game.
You know, it's really funny. Mario was calling for a shootout between the Giants and the Cowboys on Monday. Oh my God, that game was terrible.
I said I hope it's a shootout. I did not say
Battle
this
of
game
Cooper
will be
Rush and Daniel Jones.
So are you guys feeling confident with Mixon this week? Because I assume we're not starting Edmonds or Mostert. We're starting all our receivers.
How you
No,
not
I think starting
ends
Mixon in the
right now?
I think you're starting Mixon in the receivers to me. Like
I think you have to start Mixon.
Yeah.
But like, do you feel good about it?
No.
I guess
I'm starting
no.
him and I do not. I'm starting him in a 10 team and I don't feel good about it.
In a 10 team? That's hard to
in a
believe that.
flex.
Okay.
What about Tua, guys? Where are you at on Tua?
Oh, I love him. I think he's going to finish top 3, top 2, probably QB1.
He's okay.
I just traded him. So now I got to be all in. I got to hype him up. I got to do the Tyreek Hill.
I thought you were mocking me, actually.
I actually thought he was too.
I thought he was for sure. No, I don't think he'll be top 2 or 3. I do think he'll be like top 10 though. Like I had him ranked.
So like,
that's kind of my question. Is he in automatic start territory? Because he's been really good. So like this is not he's been really good. The weapons are great.
Football wise.
Fantasy, he's 14, 40, and 11. 2 of those games I don't really want.
Yeah. Well, the 11 is where he was hurt at halftime. So I kind of give him a pass for that one. The 40 was great. Came back from like 30 down or something stupid against the Ravens. I think he's probably somewhere in between there. I'd pencil him in for like, I mean, maybe that's just what you're going to expect is like 15 to 30. I think he has a pretty high floor. I think 15 is like his floor.
The ceiling might be surprisingly low. Not like crazy low, but like I don't think we see anything like that 40-point game. I mean, he had to throw 500 yards for that 40 points.
Oh, for sure. I don't think you see that again either.
He doesn't run. Yeah.
He doesn't run, and he has 2 great receivers, but it hasn't been like this like I'm not even sure if he hit 200 yards passing. Well, maybe one of the 2 games. So it's not like he's the receivers are doing great, but it's not like you throw him for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game. That hasn't been the case necessarily.
So let's talk about some situations. I know we only have a couple more minutes here, but let's think about the teams that do probably have Tua. You got him late, so you could have already had a better quarterback by that time. I think he even went undrafted in certain things. So, like, if we're looking at a choice between Joe Burrow and Tua, who you going with this week?
Joe Burrow.
I'm going Tua.
If we're looking at a choice of Derek Carr and Tua, who you going with?
Tua.
If we're looking at a choice of Tua and Kirk Cousins, who you going with?
Tua.
I was just asking for a friend on that one. Last one, because this one's going to really make you guys probably pissed, but Tua or Justin Herbert?
Tua.
I mean, I go Herbert, but I understand. He's hurt.
Just to play it.
I said that out of a little bit of jest. I probably go Herbert.
I go Herbert.
I think it's hard to bench Herbert.
It is.
It's very hard to bench him.
Though. Their secondary's stepping up.
I disagree.
Don't want to get.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So it's Tua. Let me just in general. Let's say is Tua top 12.
Yes.
I think so. I think he's right there for me, probably like 10 to 12.
I would say that's probably accurate. Right now,
where's all the people that were calling me out on Twitter about not having Brady in my top 12? Where are they at now? They're not saying anything now.
Why don't you go back to that post, Brian? Just find it. Be like, what's up, y'all?
Yeah,
we're through week 3. Yeah, because Tommy's been playing with Russell Gage and
stop it. He's been playing with Russell Gage his whole career.
As you guys would appreciate, Russell Gage and the Sisters Poor.
Oh,
you guys always
That's that joke that you said. You actually tweeted me or texted me and said, "Nobody got my joke." I still don't get it.
I still don't get it either. I mean, I get it. Kind of sounds like
I get it. It just sounds right.
It does sound right.
Right.
It's like I have 2 kids in my classroom, and one's name is Master and one's name is Tanaya. And I always want to say like Master and Tanaya, and it sounds like a TV show name. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Totally.
Yes.
The last quick question, and you could do one word answer. You're not starting. Are you starting Chase Edmonds?
Nope.
No.
In 12-team formats.
Nope.
PPR.
It's funny we talked about this last week and how pumped we all were to start him, and then
he did good.
2 touchdowns on 5 carries.
Yeah, pass.
I traded him tonight, as you guys know. So that's kind of where I stand.
I love that trade for you. I really do. It was close though.
It's close.
I think CD Lamb's gonna be fine. Yeah. All right. Getting over to the Sunday games, we got Minnesota versus the Saints. Brian, tell us about this emoji we have here.
I feel like I put the water gun.
You gotta
emoji
say it. Yeah.
I feel like people might be expecting firepower just from the names of the teams, and it's gonna be a water gun. It's gonna be a letdown.
Are you gonna read what you wrote?
Oh, this is in Britain or Canada or something.
Or some shit.
Yeah. And some other British stuff. I can't understand.
Oi, mate, these 2 teams seem like right cunts.
Yeah, basically, I don't really trust either team with my life.
Kirk Cousins is a wanker.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jameis is too.
Yeah,
but basically, I mean, Jameis is hurt. They're talking about benching him this week. You don't really know. You got the receivers. Cody brought up, I think before the show even started, that it's kind of going to be one of the 3 that's going to be going off. So you don't really know which one it's going to be. Mario talked about Kamara with Dalton. We have high hopes for that. And then on the...
Well, wait, stay there real quick.
Okay.
Michael Thomas is a guy that we didn't talk about, but I think he also hurt a toe.
He did definitely. I think it was a foot. I mean,
It's not the same foot that he hurt and was rehabbing for 2 years, thankfully. I think he'll be okay, but like out of this crew are we starting MT? Or are we starting Olave? I think, unfortunately, Jarvis has probably got relegated back to everyone's bench after probably started him in week 2, expecting something great. Are we? Olave's got to be kind of locked in.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't start Olave, honestly. I guess assuming it's Jameis. If it's Dalton, I think that's maybe a new conversation. I mean,
fair.
He's a rookie, and we just don't know.
I trust this receiver core as much as I trust the Patriots running backs.
as much as he trusts one of his
Even Olave, Brian.
Even Olave. He's a
his
rookie.
flatulence.
Dude, I do not trust that. No, I love Olave. He's a rookie. I think there's going to be growing pains. So
Especially with
like
Andy Dalton.
if he puts up a stinker, like I'm not going to be shocked. It's a rookie thing to do. But I love Olave.
Yeah, he's currently wide receiver 21 on the year.
Yeah, he's my favorite rookie this year.
Actually,
Drake London might have passed him.
Drake London's like 14 or 15, I think.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Drake London is 14. And Garrett Wilson's ahead of Drake London. So what then? 15.
These rookies are doing work.
Drake London 15, Garrett Wilson 14.
It's only because he has Joe Flacco.
Things are going to get a little messier. We'll talk about
things
that.
you never thought you'd say.
All right, so anyway, the
Alvin,
Vikings.
Alvin
You wanted
Kamara,
to talk about Alvin?
Yeah, I just want to talk. I think he's going to finish as RB1 on the year. So
Interesting.
just kidding. I also traded for him. I am hoping for better, but a lot of these RBs have kind of let us down. Okay, go ahead to Minnesota. My bad.
Well, I think you're screwed if you're relying on him with Jameis. The Vikings, Dalvin has a torn labrum. He says he's putting on a sling, which I believe, or not a sling, but a shoulder harness, which I think he wore last year as well for a couple games.
I feel like this was a thing before.
Yeah,
and if we're talking about
times,
if we're
he
talking
hasn't
about
got
torn
surgery on it.
labrums, I have a torn labrum.
Labium.
I don't want to compare it to his because his is probably way worse, especially because he's a pro athlete. Basically, I was always double jointed in my shoulder. Eventually, I went to weight lift and I went up with an overhead press and my shoulder just popped out of socket and my arm just crumpled. And then it's like you basically just go on re-injuring it over and over again unless you have time to heal it. And so I think it's going to bother him all year. I don't think it's something that he has to sit for because I think the only thing he could do is get surgery, and that's going to be a 6-month at least rehab. So he'll probably play the rest of the year through this, and it'll probably bother him a little bit, but
it did last year. I mean, it was other injuries as well at the same time that he was dealing with the shoulder injury, but it did. It affects you. And I mean, like you just said, it probably doesn't feel good to run on that and then take a hit, land on it.
So just speaking from my experience, like when I go and play basketball, every once in a while, I'll like go up to block somebody and I'll overextend my arm out.
And if you're going this way, right?
Yeah. And so when I go up too high or just extend it too hard, you can literally feel it pop out and then it just goes completely limp for like, I don't know, 30 seconds. And then it feels fine again.
The most shocking thing there is that I never knew you could pop your shoulder out of place with a 15-pound dumbbell.
Good one, Cody. Good one.
I had an ex that this used to happen all the time, and there would be times where we were drinking and it would happen and it would be like this. And that's literally what it looks like. And you have
I can still pop my left
place.
I can still pop this one out.
No, like get it.
Oh, did you hear that?
Oh, I mean, I saw it. I saw like your.
Mario's mom used to tell me if I do that, it's gonna stay like that, and I should have listened.
Yep. So what are we thinking? Okay, so New Orleans.
Real quick, I guess if you're going I think we should talk about Justin Jefferson just a smidge, not in panic mode.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about JJ and the receivers here. Like, what are you doing, Cody? We got Marshawn Lattimore on the other side. Are we gonna have some? He's a shadow corner. He's probably gonna shadow JJ.
And JJ has not been great the last 2 weeks. Week 2, the targets were good. This week wasn't good. I mean, you're starting Justin Jefferson. Let's not get too cute. But
no, you're right.
I'm not, he's not wide receiver 2 for me this week. That's
he's
for
not
sure.
Returning on value so far.
Yeah.
Week one he did. You felt a great start. But yeah, right.
You got the receivers there, Mario. Where's he at? I think he's like 10 or 12.
12.
I could be wrong. 12? Yeah.
Actually higher. Sorry.
He's 9.
9? Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're starting him. It's not a question of that, but I'm not sure that I believe he finishes wide receiver 2 anymore.
Cody, are there just certain receivers that you're going to start no matter what against cornerback? Like when Mike Evans plays Marshawn Lattimore, it's my yearly duty to tell people to bench Mike Evans.
And I don't necessarily like this year. He's thrown out in the third quarter and he had 3 for 61. That's like a typical Mike Evans game. He was on pace for 4 for 80. That's like Mike Evans textbook. And
this game was different because it was like a 45-yard catch. So it was different. But like he he usually gets shut down by Marshawn Lattimore. And I'm not saying Marshawn Lattimore is the best cornerback in the league. Like, I think he's definitely an elite cornerback. I
think it's true. You probably avoid corners a little more than I do. Like, I'll take a look at it in terms of ranking, but it's a stretch for me to bench really good receivers.
Yeah, I look at overall defense more than I do any specific.
I love the cornerback breakdown, but it can easily, they're not covering. Nobody is covering a wide receiver 100% of the game. It never happens.
Yep. Even the shadows. Yep.
Yep.
And I think it's fine to slide them down. I struggle to bench any number one receiver, regardless of who's on him. Definitely for me. Mike, would you consider benching him this week? Is it at that point for you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
See, but like, I think that there is this category right now for me that I probably wouldn't bench, like Diggs, Cup, JJ, and Devontae. Like, I'm not going to bench these guys because they're your elite wide receivers. They're your veterans. I love Waddle. I love now I have to love Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, those are good receivers, and they look like they're going to get to this level of elite, but they're inexperienced. You get an experienced cornerback, it makes it a little bit more tempting to be like, maybe I bench them this week. It's too cute though. Like, you could really burn yourself.
Yeah.
Don't fly too
maybe
close.
I just fear getting too cute. I this from some of your and I's conversations, and I'll say things like "too cute, Mario." Like, that's a line I've said to you probably more than once. Like, I'm scared of getting. I'm more scared of being too cute than I am getting burnt by not acting. You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm. You want to hear too cute? Is that I started the year with Waddle ranked as wide receiver 10 above Hill. Hold on. And now I have him right below Allen Robinson.
You don't even remember what you had him at.
I do. I had him and Hill 10 and 11. That's why.
Wait, where'd you have Allen Robinson?
I have him high 14, and I have Waddle 15.
I think Cody did that intentionally.
No, I I thought he was saying, because he said he had Waddle at 9 or whatever, I thought he was saying he had Allen Robinson at 8. I was misunderstanding. I'm like, wait, you had him at 8? Like, I knew I had him at 14. High, but...
I feel so wrong on Allen Robinson. He looks so lazy.
I mean, all three of us have loved Allen Robinson at some point in our lives, so we've all been there.
This was the first time for me.
That's where you guys should feel good. You've been burnt by him less than I have. More than I have. Wait, no, less than I have. I've been burnt more.
You got this.
I gotta go to bed.
All right, see you later, dude.
All right, let's move on. Go to the 5 throw up emojis.
Why you gotta spoil things, Brian? Go edit this now.
No,
it could be a good
edit
game.
this live.
You never know.
It will not be a good game.
Surprise, surprise! Chicago versus Giants.
Mario, can you open up that
emojis?
Can you open up that ESPN link while I'm talking about my emojis? So I ranked this 5 throw up emojis out of 4 because this game is going to be disgusting and you're not going to want to watch it. And actually, I'm picking the Giants to win this game, even though the Bears are 2-1 or whatever. Mario, do you have the ESPN link? Not the Twitter one. This is the Twitter one. I didn't want to see this one. But yeah, Daniel Jones has the highest accuracy rating in the NFL through 3 games. Mario loves Daniel Jones.
How could the Giants pick such a guy that resembles Eli Manning?
Eli Manning. I know.
Pretty young Eli Manning. So ESPN updated Khalil Herbert's projections for the season. And can you zoom in on that projected for the season there? Because they have him projected for 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns.
What?
Whoa!
So they must just extrapolate last week's game.
I think that's 100% what they did because the average is the exact same and his long doesn't change.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But I just found that very interesting and I was pumped as a Khalil Herbert truther. I'm all in.
I'm readjusting my headphones if you guys want to keep talking. They went echoey.
Okay. Let me ask you this. This is a good question. So let's say David Montgomery's okay. Has Khalil Herbert showed enough that this is an ugly timeshare?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he has, but the Bears love Montgomery, and he's in his last year of his contract. So they have the option of, running him into the ground or giving him a new contract. We don't know what's going to happen yet. We've seen both things happen. The people that say, Dynasty, oh, Khalil Herbert's the best guy ever. You don't know what's going to happen with Montgomery's contract, and the Bears love David Montgomery.
So I missed a little bit of this, but I do think Khalil Herbert will be more involved going forward. But like the timeshare thing is tough. I don't think it's going to be an Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, or Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb sort of timeshare. But I could definitely see Khalil getting, I don't know,
6 to 10 touches.
Wasn't it already
definitely the
a
range.
60-40 timeshare or maybe like 65-35? Like, I don't think it will change that much.
I think
Maybe
what Mario's
they'll
saying is probably more
manufacture
like a
more
75-25.
touches.
Okay. I mean, maybe. Their receivers are butt cheeks. Are you guys dropping Mooney, by the way?
Yep. I haven't. So in one league, I haven't just because I don't have someone I necessarily wanted, but I'm done with him. I think he's droppable.
I did it in 10 team today.
And it's not because of Darnell Mooney.
No, it's not.
It's because Justin Fields is the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Dude,
and it's not terribly close.
What his starting points, 2 of them have been like 6 points and under, I think. Like it was.
And he runs the ball. Like
yeah.
If you just look at him purely from a passing standpoint,
He completed 4 passes last game.
It's remarkably bad.
It's so bad.
He has 297 yards on the season.
That's like 2 of the second half against the Ravens.
I really do expect them to turn this around to some degree. I am not.
They should draft a quarterback quickly.
In 10 teams, I'm dropping Mooney. In 12 teams, I'm stashing him. There is a line there for me.
In 12 teams,
here's what I struggle.
You make it sound like you're going out to get him, though.
I mean,
by saying
putting him on my bench at least for another week or two.
Here's where it gets hard. Not hard, but this is where I struggle, and this is where I tend to like start cutting bait when I get to this point. So let's say Mooney turns it around, and I'm not talking like 10 catches.
When you're ever going to trust him?
Yeah. So let's say the next 3 weeks he has 5 catches for 80 yards. Perfectly good flex games. You're still not going to flex him.
Well,
like when are you gonna? For me, at least, probably. I'm too scared.
Unless the Bears start actually putting up points and their offense looks it's like knows what they're doing instead of whatever we've been seeing the first 3 weeks. I agree.
Aside from Justin Fields sort of concerns, we had Mooney go against San Francisco, Green Bay, and Houston. Brian doesn't love this Houston secondary, but this young Houston secondary is nice. Green Bay has a really good secondary as well. They have Stokes and Alexander, and San Francisco is a pretty strong defense overall. Like those are strong defenses.
San Francisco, it was like coming into the season, they were ranked number 1. The only thing about Houston is they haven't been tested yet. That's why I'm not willing to crown them like you are. Like
I'm not crowning them.
Okay, but you're saying they're a good defense based on playing the Bears, the Broncos, and the Colts. Like,
and they gave up a lot to the Colts. Michael Pittman had 2 TDs.
20 points. That's not a lot.
But
I'm just saying the Colts have been terrible. The Broncos have been terrible. What are you shaking your head for? The Colts have been bad.
That's what I was helping your case. I said Michael Pittman went off on them, and you said they only gave up 20. And it's like, what are you saying?
I'm saying like they're ranked as the 3rd ranked passing defense, but I don't buy it because they've gone against 3 teams that don't know what they're doing so far.
What's the lowest pass rating you guys have ever seen for a starting quarterback?
Gosh,
like 0. I don't know.
No, not for a starter. Because like I feel like you've like 4 incomplete passes and then a negative 4-yard pass is somehow still like a pass rating of 30. I'm not sure how that math works, but it seems to be the case. Justin Fields' pass rating is 50. It's actually a number I've never seen for a full-time starter.
Not a pass rating. Yeah.
No.
Like QBR, you see that all the time, but pass rating.
Yeah, his QBR is 23.
What's it? The max of pass ratings like 154, 156.
Yeah.
56.3 or something stupid.
And a really good quarterback hovers around 100. Really good quarterback.
Yeah, I think average is usually like the season you finish around average 90. A little bit of
80,
average,
90.
80 to 90. Yeah.
Yep.
80, high 80s, low 90s. Yeah.
Yep. Justin Fields rolling out a 50.
Ooh.
He don't even have a decimal. It's a 50.0.
Cole Kmet I have been seeing in a lot of leagues on waivers. Obviously, I don't even think we need to talk. Yeah, we don't need to talk about anybody else other than Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery for this.
No.
Yeah, because somehow their running game still looked pretty good.
Screw the Bears, dude. I'm so done. I say that like just because I invested in the passing game and not the running game. Like, screw the Bears.
I hate watching them. I also hate watching the Giants, though. Actually, the Giants were kind of exciting.
Dude, let's flip over to the Giants because like I want you to talk about Saquon and where your head's at now because like you're kind of flipping back and forth, I think, or maybe you still hold your.
I am a huge
position.
and always have been a huge Saquon believer. On the flip side, I have always been a huge non-believer of the Giants.
You've been roasting him all season.
Oh yeah, I have, and I still, don't necessarily believe it, but they've had a cupcake schedule so far. I think he'll have a good week this week. He's Studley. The Giants are really bad. I think he'll eat up this week against this terrible Chicago team. That's about all I got for that.
Dude, so I last week in week 2, after week 2, I get text from Brian and probably our group chat, Cody.
Yep.
Barkley top 5, huh? Barkley top 5. And then this week, actually, it was this week. It was like Barkley suck. And then
then he had like a 70-yard catch.
It was in like the third quarter of the game. He was texting us how much he sucked. Not even like in prep of this week.
Whoa! Stop saying
big TD.
I said the Giants.
You said
and
Barkley.
I compared him.
No, you definitely said Barkley.
I compared him to Najee because I said they're both on terrible teams.
You for sure said Barkley sucks when he was like
in multiple text messages.
Yeah, it was like, and then he ripped off a 37-yarder.
Here's where you're not being fair to Brian. Like Mario, you are being a little unfair. I'll give Brian this part. So here, no, you're being unfair. So you act like he wishy-washes every week on Saquon Barkley. He wishy-washes every 10 minutes on Barkley. Give the guy his due.
Oh my God. Also true. I love Barkley. I hate the Giants, man. I hate them. Like watching Saquon run up the gut for 2 yards is painful. But then he busts the 40-yard catch or something to the outside. I don't know. It's something.
So we'll move on from Barkley. There is one other guy I wanted to talk about. There are 2 other guys. Sterling Shepard out for the year. So this is tough. Like, are you starting any of these weapons? Can Richie James go into your flex? Are you stashing any for future? One of the guys that I'm gaining some traction is Daniel Bellinger. Now that Sterling Shepard is out, I'm not starting him this week, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on all of the pass catchers in the Giants and then also about this week. Go ahead.
So, no, on Bellinger. And secondly, I thought it was very interesting that in our Dynasty League, Kadarius Toney was dropped. And this guy was talked about as like all offseason, he was worth a first-round pick if you're trading for him and all this stuff. And there were only 2 bids put in. And I was one of them for like $15, and I think the winning one was like $40. Nobody wants the Giants receivers.
It's not the Giants receivers, though. It really isn't. Shepard was doing fine.
Yeah, he was.
Toney doesn't play.
I know.
It's not him.
Maybe it's their field. It hurts
it's
everybody.
Not the Giants.
Galladay ain't doing anything. He's not giving you anything.
I said it once before. Stash Wandell.
I think Richie James is a poor man's Greg Dortch. Honestly,
you didn't even finish it. I compared him to Kadarius Hodge. He makes great the catches that are supposed to be made. Nothing more.
Yep, nothing more. He's going to get you 5 for 58. That is what you were getting from Richie.
And you're like, okay, 10 points, and that's likely for the next couple of weeks till we see Wandell and maybe Toney. Yeah.
Now I want to add something on old Bellinger real quick.
Oh yeah, baby.
This is where I'm at on tight ends. This is not going to be necessarily a big thing for Bellinger.
This is where I'm at too, though. I know exactly what you're going to say.
If you don't have Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce,
upside,
you can start one of any 30 tight ends, and I think it's a perfectly fine choice.
Like Isaiah Likely or Mike Gesicki.
They're all the same. They all suck equally. And that includes TJ Hawkinson. That includes Darren Waller. That includes
George Kittle,
Dawson Knox. Kittle.
Did he play last week? I don't think.
He hit a whole 3 catches for 20 yards.
4, I think. But it was his first game back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the jury's out on Kittle, but
I'm all in on Kittle.
These 2 or 3 guys, you can literally make the case to start anybody because they're all so trash.
I'm all in on Kittle because it's Garoppolo again.
Dawson Knox is tight end 27.
All right, we'll keep it going before you guys Well, actually, speaking of Dawson Knox, he faces off in Baltimore. In Baltimore? I think it's in Baltimore.
It's gonna be a pass for me, dog.
Oh yeah, I did not put where these games were at.
Okay. Let's start with Buffalo. I know you have the Ravens here first, but for that great seamless transition that I just pulled off and then failed completely. Are you starting these guys up? Because I hate this secondary. Baltimore secondary is beat up.
I actually put that in the notes. Do you want to start McKenzie? Because I assume you're starting Gabe Davis. There's no way you're not starting Gabe Davis.
Gabe starting.
And Diggs is a stud.
Diggs might eat this game.
Are you flexing McKenzie?
This could be a 10-catch Diggs game.
I think there's situations where I put McKenzie in my flex. Yes.
I don't hate it.
I see. I mean, like, he should easily be able to get 11 points, but his upside could be like 16, 18,
35,
76, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawson Knox, I still feel like this game could be a 48-45 shootout, and Dawson Knox will be there with like 2.8 points.
And that'll make him. And here's where we are. That'll make him tight end 7 for the week.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like we should have known the red flags with Dawson Knox production was always there. He was a huge TD guy. Like, that was it. His receptions weren't high.
His receptions were, but I think his yardage was actually okay.
I think it was like 600.
I was gonna say like 680 or 660. That's
It was a lot, but he had double-digit touchdowns, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyways, so Brian, you're sitting Dawson Knox. Is that what I'm hearing you both say?
I think you can start him. I think it doesn't
matter.
matter.
I was going to say the same thing. It depends on. I mean, it's a dart throw, just like 10 other tight ends.
This is a good defense to do it, I think.
Yeah, and especially it's the best team in the league, the Bills. So I mean, you've got worse options for sure.
You know what? I actually might do a tight end this week, and I'm not. This is not a joke. This is authentic. Because tight end is one of those, like, I feel like tight end is the position most where
whatever you say next, you better do it.
The guy that did good the week before, and you picked him up off waivers and you start him, it's always a goose egg. Not necessarily goose egg, but it's a terrible game. Like, that's how tight end works. So I think I'm gonna chase whoever had 0 catches for 0 yards last week. So I think the good game's coming
right now. Would you guys say the top 5 tight ends are Kelce?
Don't even do top 5. There's not 5 good ones.
Well, hold on. Andrews, Ertz hasn't been bad. Godare hasn't been bad. And Njoku hasn't been terrible.
Oh, my God. And Njoku's been terrible except for 1 game.
No, I think he's been good 2 games. I think just one game's been terrible.
I don't think it's true.
I mean, I could be mistaken. I mean, like, it's close that's our
I'm gonna get, like, we're getting sidetracked here. It's Njoku's 1.7, 6.2, and then 23.9. Everett really looked good until last week, which Herbert looked really bad. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that one. Wow. This one pains me to say, but Tyler Higbee, another guy that has looked.
Oh man,
the volume has been there. Tears could come down my face right now because I'm so.
But wasn't it kind of bad this week, or am I crazy?
It wasn't great, but I think his target share were up.
Okay,
he was okay because we had a buddy talking crap
4 for 61.
He was gonna be tight end number 1.
Yeah,
I tried to make that.
Doesn't mean anything.
8.9, 14.1, and 10.1 in a time in this economy, in this tight end economy.
It's true.
It's value.
That's a top 5 guy.
Joe Biden has ruined the tight end economy.
I'm having a pity party about tight ends right now.
For the Baltimore side, Lamar has been on fire.
I'm sorry. I'm slowing us down. I'm sorry.
Jeez,
what are you doing with Singletary? I actually think this is relevant.
Still nothing.
That is relevant.
He scares the bejesus out of me.
I avoided him in all leagues for this very reason.
I didn't necessarily avoid him. I actually thought I was actually okay with Singletary this year. Here's my issue. I don't want to say issue, just my pause. He's not getting any rushing work. And so last week was great because he caught 9 passes or 8 passes or whatever it was. But, like, I don't think he's had double-digit carries yet this year.
And if he does, it's like 12 max.
Yeah, and so I just don't know. Like, you can't count on 9 catches. And so what's there?
I want nothing to do with him. I would try and trade him if you could, but nobody wants Devin Singletary. Literally, you will not get anything for him.
Yeah, he has a stink on
his name. He is at best a flex.
He's got that Miles Sanders
Boys, it's kind of tough though.
Trade value.
I disagree because I feel like
No,
Singletary.
not Singletary, but for this matchup, we saw Ramondre tear them up last week.
Are you talking on the ground or are you talking through the air? Like, what do you see?
Ramondre did well on the ground. The Jets had, I think it was 20 targets in week 1. Miami's has kind of just their rushing game has been so bad. I don't think they did anything.
Didn't Mostert have a decent week?
It would be surprising when they were down so big that game. 11
Maybe
for
it wasn't this
51.
week. Maybe it was 2 weeks
It was
ago.
he averaged 5 yards per carry. So I mean, like,
It's 5 points though. From a fantasy perspective.
it's not going to be much more for Mostert, but for Singletary, where he's getting involved in some of these passing plays. I think with some of these injuries in like PPR, I'm almost always trying to start a wide receiver. But like, again, the running backs we talked a lot about the tight end economy. The running back economy is on its way to a recession as well.
I think you just
Is
said
it
running
not?
back twice.
I like that. No. I just think that was on its way to a recession. That was funny.
It's been bad. Like you said, there's only 2 good tight ends. There's only been like 5 to 6 good.
You need to rush at opening bell and pick up all the Khalil Herbert stocks you can.
So
Brian
let me
sounded
put it
like
this
that
way
little
then.
kid that's like, I've never been on TV. I've never been on the news before. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so like I don't trust Devin Singletary's rushing, but I'm going to entertain the idea that like, hey, he's a receiving back. So let's say that hypothetically. I then struggle with the idea that okay, so McKenzie's a maybe play, Gabe Davis a play, Stephon Diggs a play. We're saying might as well start Dawson Knox. We're saying Devin Singletary might have some. I don't think I can start 5 pass catchers on a team, even
Yeah,
if
but
it
just
is
because
Bills.
you're saying
So-
start Dawson Knox doesn't mean that you have any faith that he's going to score.
That's
any
fair.
points.
You're also not
That's
going to have
fair.
all these guys, right? Like,
You're not, but I mean, but in general, I don't know that it's good advice to say you should start 5 pass catchers from a team.
He's a running back.
Yeah, but his only success has been as a pass catcher.
No,
Yeah.
not week 1.
Week 1, he had 8 carries for 48 yards.
Stud! 6 yards per carry.
Week 2, he had 6 for 19. Week 3, he had 9 for 13. He has 80 rushing yards on the season.
All right. Let's talk about Baltimore.
So
Nobody cares about-
well, are you out? Are you starting him?
I think we need
It's
to be out on
honestly gonna be
somebody. I don't like starting 5, saying
Sure,
start 5 pass catchers.
It's tough though because it's going to have to be situational. Like, who?
I think here's what I guess maybe it does for me. It probably makes it just Diggs and Gabe Davis for me. Yeah.
You remember
because I
like
just
10
think-
minutes ago when Cody said, sorry, guys, I don't want to extend this too long. And then
You're
was
out
me.
on Gabe Davis this week?
No. I'm saying
no,
Diggs
he's
and Gabe
in.
Davis would be the only starts under that
Oh.
logic that I'm going down. Like,
Okay.
there's 3 more guys. I'm like, yeah.
well, yeah,
but they
those
can't
3
all
guys are
three.
like your lottery ticket flexes. Like you're hoping that they took Josh Allen out for dinner the night before and he wants to reward him with a couple balls in their face.
Okay. All right.
So
right.
you're just hoping that one of them is going to be the apple of his eye that night.
I want to say this is going to be another high scoring game that we see this week. I really believe that. I mean, Lamar's been on fire so much. Buffalo's defense probably won't slow him down, even as good as Buffalo's defense is. If Lamar keeps this up, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think McKenzie is a starter, and I think Singletary is a starter.
Okay.
But again, situational though. Like in 10 teams, neither of those guys. 12
Mhm.
teams where I'm hurting at running back 2, running back 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm gonna get text from Cody this week and yelling at
No.
me.
You won't.
Um,
I've only ever done that with Matt Ryan. You guys are big babies.
he bullied me while I was on vacation, dude.
I know.
I did.
silly.
Great bullying.
Matt Ryan's poo
Are
poo.
you guys playing Dobbins this week?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
See,
wow.
I play Singletary over Dobbins easily.
interesting.
Oh yeah, not for me.
I
Why?
wouldn't either.
That
I'd put
D
Dobbins.
I don't
line,
wanna say-
that D line is insane.
That is.
I'm
Very
not
true. I
like-
didn't think about that.
I'm not like incredibly excited to start Dobbins, but I think
This
he's
is a
probably going to
name-
be my top 24. That's the
Oh,
better way to
gross!
say
This
it.
is like a name thing, though. Like you want to start J.K. Dobbins because he was great at one point. He was the second week off of this injury, but like this defensive line is going to be no joke.
No, I
Yes.
agree with the defense. The defense is nasty. I'm still
And
starting
we haven't
Dobbins.
even seen him get a workload yet.
But here's
Look,
the hard.
I don't want the headache of Singletary. I don't want it.
And it goes back to what you said. There's been like 6 good running backs. Like when you start doing your top 24,
I'll take Singletary over.
yes, and I would take Dobbins. And maybe they're both right about that spot. Maybe they're both
Probably
about
close.
that. Yeah.
It is probably close.
And then the other guy we need to talk about is Bateman, obviously.
But wait, I do want to say last thing. I am not. If I have another option than JK, a lot of options, I'm probably going with those. Miles Sanders. Yep. It
So
is right around
Bateman,
there.
is he startable?
Yes, absolutely.
Is he a flex or a wide receiver too, though?
Flex. He's
Oh,
probably
think he's a
flex for
flex.
sure.
I think
If
he's a
that.
flex.
But I don't think anybody's feeling good about starting him.
I don't think
If you've paid attention to the
bad,
games, if you're just looking at numbers, yeah, he's been fine. If you're actually watching the games, though, it's scary.
Well, week 2 is really rough for him. Week
This
1,
week. I think this week was the rough week.
I think every
Was it?
week has been rough for
Yeah,
him.
this week was the rough one.
week 1, he just didn't get many targets. He got a late 50-yard
touchdown. I think that happened in week
Here,
2
let me get
also.
it.
I
Maybe
think
it
it's
was
happened
this
every week.
Cody.
What's that now? His fantasy points are 15, 23, and 6.
Maybe it was this week then.
Yeah.
Because the 23 game, he looked great. It was
Is that
everything
ring
you wish
box,
for.
Brian?
What?
What is that in your
Probably
hand?
is.
Your other yep. What's in your other hand?
The empty one.
Yeah, I thought it was a ring box. I'm like, why does this dude have a ring box?
Well, my ring is in my car from draft
Okay.
night.
No, sorry, I got us off track again. I mean, I think he's a flex. Like I think you guys are.
I think you got to keep him in for this game. And then,
I don't think he's a
Do-
must start though. I'll say that.
I agree. Like, you have to have some good flex options, right?
I have him as a wide receiver 1 in one league, and I'm 0-3.
Yeah, I can see
Mario
that.
and 3.
Mario 0-3.
Duvernay is like one of those guys you wanted to keep on your bench forever. I had to drop him in a league. I don't know if it's how do you ever get him on your starting team is going to be impossible. And obviously, Mark Andrews, you're starting. Let's go to Cleveland, Atlanta. Brian, kick us off with Cleveland.
Dog check. You're clearly playing Hunt. You're playing Chubb.
Thought we were checking for dogs.
Is Amari Cooper wide receiver 1?
No,
Are you playing Hunt?
I'm playing Hunt.
I think it was one bad week for Hunt. I think Hunt.
Dude,
still
you're over
probably
here
slots
talking
in as one
about
RB2.
wide receiver graveyard, wide receiver or running
Hunt
back
was like-
graveyard.
running back 4 or 5 before this week. Now it was a bad week. Don't get me wrong, but
It's been too bad. I mean, it's been 2 average weeks, 9.4 and then 9.1. He scored 23 first week.
Yeah, but like in a flex or even as a RB2, I'm
he's probably
trusting
still a
him.
lower B2 for me.
I'm not gonna say trusting, but there's
like I
worse
think you play him
options.
over Singletary and Dobbins, right? I do.
I would. Yes,
I would.
I would feel much better about him than
Yeah.
both of those guys.
Where do you guys put ETN in that lineup? And I'm serious.
below.
You
him.
just are asking for yourself.
I'm serious because ETN does these 9 point to 11 point.
I would say
games.
after Hunt, but above Dobbins. I think.
Yeah, he's
this
probably
week, I
below that
agree.
whole group for me, honestly.
I
but not
think
like
this week.
crazily.
I think this week. Well, we'll talk about it, but yeah, let's just wait till we. Get there.
So Mari Cooper, wide receiver 1. Cody said no.
But as a wide receiver 1.
Yes, as a not the wide receiver 1, as a top 12 receiver,
Jacoby has looked phenomenal,
especially throwing to Cooper.
especially throwing to Cooper, and last week to Njoku
think-
and Cooper.
Cooper had a big drop too. Like would have been a touchdown drop, didn't he?
He had a drop, but I don't think it was a touchdown. I think it was
Would have been a
running
big
out of bounds.
catch.
Yeah,
Either way. Oh yeah, the one
Cooper's
that went out
looked
of bounds.
good.
That's what it was. It was a touchdown. He went out of bounds to come back in and catch it though.
yeah,
that
it,
was-
yeah.
that
Well,
was
that was
just
what I was
so
talking about.
bad. Oh,
Yeah, that
one
was bad. So on the other side of the ball, Atlanta, we kind of talked about Cordarrelle earlier. Miles just got in a car accident. Is Clowney still out? I'm not up to date on that. I'm
Yes.
playing Cordarrelle, and I'm feeling great about it this week, especially with how bad the Browns defense has been. Drake London's killing it. I think you're playing him no matter what. Pitts,
I have him in a couple leagues and I'm flexing him.
are we back
so
in on
here's
Pitts?
let me throw one thing. I'm flexing Drake London over Bateman. So when we had that Bateman conversation, like I'm
Oh,
high
I don't
enough,
even think
like
that's
I'm there on
close.
Drake London.
I started London over CD Lamb last week.
See, I'd like to start both of those guys, so it's hard.
I think I did end up actually starting both of them.
So-
I can't remember who I benched though. Oh, DK.
Brian-
I benched DK.
I'm nervous about Cordarrelle this week.
I'm not. Especially
mean-
without Miles and Clowney.
Yeah, but I mean, they still have. How much does the defensive end really? I mean, like two
Mario's
inside runs.
Yeah, but you're
switching
not
it
really
up.
scared of the Browns' inside defenders either.
Yeah, that was the issue.
And then
I'm
you
having.
bust
But I was
into
also
the
thinking about the Browns,
secondary.
like how they've done against the rush, and it's been pretty good. Like CMC looked, he got a late TD if I remember correctly in week 1. The Jets had Brees Hall and Michael
Brees Hall
Carter.
and Carter both ate up.
I don't think they ate up, but for
I-
fantasy they did because I think they got a lot of receptions.
I think they ate
And we're
up.
not seeing Cordarrelle get many receptions. And then last week it was like, what, Najee have 50 for a touchdown, right around there?
Also, terrible offensive line. Miles killed them, and the Steelers just look bad. Like, those are 3 bad teams.
If
I'm
Miles
not
plays,
saying
you
the
still
Falcons
feel
are
as
good.
confident. You're still starting him though, huh?
What?
It sounds like you're
I'm
still
starting him no
Cordarrelle.
matter what because Montgomery's going to be out, in the only league that I have Cordarrelle. But no, I feel really good about starting him, even if Miles is back. I think he gets enough volume. Like,
The volume has been huge.
It's going to be kind of crazy because I think I'm just going to be the Cordarrelle doomsday siren blower for the rest of the season.
I think he'll finish in the
It's that
15
and
to
J-Rob.
20 range this year.
Here's where I'm at on it. I was the Cordarrelle hater all of last year, and I'm sick of being wrong, so I'm hopping on. I mean, like, at what point? Like, it's like 20 weeks. At what point are we just going to say this works, regardless if it's through the air, regardless if it's still like, it's just happening.
So the Browns have a tendency of
Exactly.
playing up or down to their opponents. So I think this is going to be a pretty good game. Are you guys back in on Kyle Pitts after his, what do you have, like 81 yards last week?
81 yards is like a borderline record for tight ends in the NFL this year. So yes, I'm in on Kyle Pitts.
I mean, I was never out on Pitts, but
Did you guys watch the game? Because like it was all almost first half.
Yeah,
it was.
I actually
It
thought a
was.
huge game was coming.
yeah, we did. I'm still in. I don't care. The Browns.
Yeah, he's a
secondary
must
is so
start at this
bad.
point. What are you going to start? Irv Smith
Absolutely
over
is a
him?
must start.
You
But
know.
the I'm back in thing is still like, I think Marcus Mariota might have an issue getting it to him all season.
I think the gap between those top 2 guys and Kyle Pitts or whoever's next is very big. So that agrees to what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
where like Kyle Pitts is probably not going to return value where he's drafted, but in terms
I
of
still
tight
think he'll
ends,
be
he's gonna
top
fine.
5. And
I
he
do
was
too, but I don't
drafted
think the
top
value is going to be there.
4.
Like top 5 at tight end is not going to mean much this year. I really believe that.
I want to believe it. I'm trying to get him still. Even after that game, I was kind of happy it slowed down, but at the same time, it's like, why is this slowing down?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel it. Last, anybody else on this team you guys want to
Nope.
look out for? No?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I like Njoku.
No, dang it. I just said this.
Olamide
No.
Zakakaya.
Zacharias.
I like
It's
that
Zach.
better. He should change his name to whatever I just said because it sounded good.
No, I passed.
Olamide Zakakaya.
Let's go one more game. Jacksonville and Philly. Brian, what's the emoji here? Theatric.
Yeah, it's sad face, happy face because that's
Oh,
how
I
you're
thought it
going to
was
feel
theatric.
for both teams because I feel like it's either going to be ETN or Robinson having a good game, just like it's going to be
Not
either
both.
AJ Brown or Devontae Smith having a good game. And so that's why I put sad face, happy face.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit more. So a lot of people are calling for this to be the Travis Etienne breakout game, even though James Robinson has been great, phenomenal. But I think the idea is Jacksonville hasn't gone down in any games, and this is going to be one that we're expecting to be either close or Philly to kind of be leading the way.
So if that's the case, I don't see Robinson getting the same work he's got, and so he'll have a bad game. I just don't think that both of them are going to be able to produce, which might be nearsighted of me, but until I see it, that's my thought.
And there's no way you're benching James Robinson here, correct? Like, I mean, the dude's
can't.
RB3 on the year.
Yeah, you can't.
Is Brian shaking his head? I have the notes up in front of me.
He's just sort of pondering, I think.
I wouldn't be, I mean,
So how can you be all in on Cordarrelle and all out on James Robinson?
I'm not all out on James Robinson. I just
Let's
sent
be
you
same players
a
we
couple
talked.
stats, a couple advanced stats of James Robinson
Okay.
that basically implied
Sure,
that
the ETM has
he
been
is
better than both.
not been as good as his numbers would suggest.
Well,
So
there's a
let's
couple
use
things.
those guys that we said are like, well, we weren't feeling great about starting them. So like, let's say it's James Robinson and Kareem Hunt, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, it's got to
James
be
Robinson.
Robinson, right?
It's Robinson easy
Yes,
at this point.
but if you played Kareem Hunt over him, I'd be like, okay.
That's fair. I don't think I
probably
would,
wouldn't
also
do
be
it.
crazy. That's
But
probably fair.
yeah, I probably wouldn't do it, but I'd be like, okay, I think Philly's defense is really good this year.
Okay. I just picked him up, so it feels good. Thank you for saying that.
Can I give you guys
up.
a chance to beat me up a little bit?
No,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Who else do you want to talk about?
your mom.
My mom watches, so she's gonna be offended.
What's
I
up,
am
Mrs. Austin?
Dang, Brian went his deep voice there too, dude. What was going on?
My bald voice.
So
yeah,
the reason I want to bring up what you guys can get on me, I pride myself on kind of finding those cheap but decent QBs. You guys know that's kind of my forte a little bit. And obviously Stafford's been horrific. Yours truly has picked up Trevor Lawrence and will be starting him over Matthew Stafford.
Nice.
week.
I really like it. Lawrence has looked
I
pretty
don't feel good
this
about
year.
it, but
I would. Lawrence has looked pretty good this year. Philly is a tough defense though, so that I wouldn't.
Stafford's got San Fran though, so it's not much better.
True.
Can you just drop Stafford? How long do you go till you drop him?
I've been rostering 2 QBs in most leagues this year, which is kind of weird for me, but I just haven't had as good a QB luck this year. So if I'm rostering 2 QBs, I think he's very much rosterable still. If you only want to roster one, then I suppose you could drop him, but he's not at that point for me.
I can't even drop Kirk yet.
So
I'm right there with you. And Brian's here comes Brian. I know.
No, I was gonna say, so another Kirk, Christian Kirk, has been a stud. I believe he's top 10 right now.
He is.
Probably has to be.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys, would you rather have
6.
Kirk or Amari Cooper this week?
This week, Amari Cooper, but I'm going to get burned by it. I just keep getting burned by Christian Kirk, so why don't I do it again?
Well, like, why is this a question? You should be starting both of these guys, I think.
You can only start one.
I think I go Kirk because, like...
I also go Kirk. So which one would you rather have for the rest of the season?
Kirk.
Even with Deshaun coming back in week 11?
It's week 11. I suppose it helps, but it's just so far out.
I still go Kirk also. I'm in love with Kirk.
Amari's not even going to be healthy by week 11. I go Kirk.
Oh, my God. Listen to the whatever.
You say Amari's not going to be healthy, but you're saying he's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying he was hurt already. Okay.
And not like a major injury, just the one where he's like, my back, I got to go stand on the side for a minute.
I think Amari Cooper's on a really hot streak, and I want to ride that hand, but I'm not sure.
Mario's been a huge believer in all of the other Jaguars receivers. Who are they again? Zay Jones, I think.
Huge
Who's the other?
Marvin Jones. All the Joneses.
Marvin Jones. Mario loves Zay Jones.
He's keeping up with all the Joneses.
I hate him.
You don't hate him. You've been texting me about him like 3 or 4 times this week.
What?
About Zay Jones. You're like, look at him. He looks so big.
This is not me.
I think it's you. I'll have to double check, but I swear that was you that said it.
This was not. No. I don't think this is a text I was on. That's for sure. Because I don't remember.
No, because I texted him about our league and I said, hey, I'm putting one in for Zay Jones. I don't feel good about it. I sent it with a puke emoji.
Oh, I thought somebody sent it was a Twitter link to Zay Jones, and it was a play he
Felix.
had. Maybe it was.
Felix loves Zay Jones.
He does love Zay Jones.
So are you trusting any of those guys for the rest of the year? I'm not talking this week because they're playing Philly. Flexes for the rest of the year? Yes,
not flexes. I mean, they're rosterable, but not.
Yeah,
flexes.
they are.
I don't even care about
Kadarius Toney for Zay Jones is what we would do. He's getting targets. It's that value.
Yeah, at least his availability is your best ability. So Eagles side of the ball, Jalen Hurts is the lock. You're playing Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. I think one of them will burn you. That's just me.
I kind of agree, but
do you think so? Mario, let's just ask you, since Cody agrees with me, do you think Jalen Hurts can support both these guys?
Like in a week?
And Godare. Can he support
No, I think we're talking more long-term in general. I mean,
yeah, I'm talking
and he's done it. It's not to say he hasn't done it.
I believe it.
Okay. That's all we need.
Look,
Godare's probably...
I never really was in on Godare, and I was actually kind of lower on Devontae and AJ Brown. So, but as I've been watching Jalen Hurts just dominate, he did it last week. AJ Brown had 19.5. Devonta Smith had 30.
Dude, he had a sick catch over like 2 defenders.
Points between like if you have both these guys, you're playing both of them weekly, and you're not even looking at it until things
you're not going to look
at
it. Wait. And Jalen Hurts has been great. Here's what I'll say. I think you're going to get a smidge of what we saw with Tyreek Hill last week from time to time. Now, at the end of the season, it's going to be fine. But like
So, real
Devonta
quick,
Smith
Mario.
could disappear.
Yeah,
for-
I was just gonna say Mario
When
because
has
Devontae
Devonta
Smith
Smith-
had 0 week 1. He
Yeah,
played the
against-
entire game.
Am I wrong about
this?
this? Wasn't it against the Jeff?
don't
I can't say his
care.
last name. But those
Week 2, what do you do?
matter.
Week 2,
When
what do
we
you
have-
do? Week 2, what
He
do you
did
do?
great week 2.
I would just want to know. I'm not an Eagles
15
watcher.
points, 7 for 80. I would take
Cody
that all
Cody
day.
wouldn't even flex that.
Like in week 1, he played the cornerback that's been up and coming, Detroit Lions cornerback. He shadowed him a lot that game. I don't know
So-
why he didn't shadow AJ Brown.
That's fine.
He
I
went
think you
off.
can start both of them. And I mean, I just think you might be, like Cody said,
I
disappointed.
think you got to start
every once
both.
in a
You're
while.
just there's
I
gonna be
kinda
times
think you
where
do too.
you get hurt.
Well,
But it is
Um,
what it
and
is.
like I know we're getting to time limit and this is going to go way off because this was our last game, but like I'm starting Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. I feel much better about starting AJ Brown and Devonta Smith than those two.
Oh, I would too.
I would agree.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith have both looked very good. I think they
Hey, Curtis Samuel has looked great.
both, dude.
He
What
really
about
I
has.
Terry
told you.
McLaurin?
I
Look at-
told you last
Terry,
week.
Terry,
I know.
I mean,
I
Terry
told
has
you
looked
guys
good.
the
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
What
I don't
happened?
even
He
know.
did fine.
Honeymoon period was going to end. I told you. It's
What?
over.
He did fine.
He's back to Carson Wentz.
You didn't. You
The-
must have
the-
stopped watching after.
The pumpkin
first
has
3 quarters.
turned back into a pumpkin. That's right. I
You
said
stopped
it
watching
twice.
after the first 3 quarters, dude.
Of
I
course,
think
who
that
wants to watch
Carson
Carson
Wentz-
Wentz play football?
I'm guessing Carson Wentz still have more yards in the second half of week 3 than Justin Fields has in the season.
He has 211. He had
211.
so you're
It
saying
could
that-
actually be close.
No, it's 297. You said Fields had 297.
Oh, 297? Okay, yeah. I forgot that.
So last guy we need to talk about
Okay.
is Miles Sanders. What can you even do with him?
You start him.
Are you
He's
buying
been
him?
fine. He's been
Can you
fine.
sell him? He has not been fine.
I don't think. Yeah, he has.
I don't think he
I-
has.
He's been fine.
I feel like he's top 20, maybe even top 15.
I think
Am
he's
I crazy on that? Oh, is he not?
23.
He might be lower than
23.
that. 23.
So
okay.
it was 18, 11.6, then 5.4. He's been getting, it was 13 carries, 17 carries, 15 carries. I think the biggest problem is, no, even like 2 receptions, 3 receptions, 1
The
reception.
touches are great. It's
Yeah, it's been-
touchdowns. It's the same issue it's always been. He had
But
a touchdown
still,
week
yeah.
1.
So,
He had 2
but this
last
is
year.
not what people,
You're right.
At least this is. I
Yeah.
feel like preseason.
man.
This is not what people drafted him for.
Well,
they
they
did not
should-
draft him to be a flex guy.
I don't agree. I feel like Miles Sanders was real cheap this year.
I don't
About
think
6th,
he
7th.
was.
6th, 7th.
I feel like, I mean, you say flex guy, he's technically been a wide receiver, or technically been an RB2.
Wasn't he 25? So that's not technically.
23.
I think he said 23.
Oh,
It is
okay.
23.
Okay.
So it technically
Got
is
me.
Brian. Seek your attitude elsewhere.
So anyway, okay, but you personally, are you buying? Are you selling? Are you holding?
I don't think the sale is there. So
I think
you're
he's,
gonna have
I
to
think he's
ride it.
holding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to be there all season. Like if you're holding forever. This is it. This is Miles
See,
Sanders.
Yeah, I agree that this is Miles Sanders, but are you that upset to own the RB23?
Yes. If this is
But
what he's
loves
gonna do.
holding on to Melvin Gordon and
Yes.
starting him.
Because I know what Melvin Gordon is. I feel like Miles Sanders is just like you're hoping for something.
Well, because
I
he's
actually
good.
personally, no, that's what I say. I actually personally think
You're
Miles Sanders
hoping
is a
that
really
season
good
8 of
player.
Game of Thrones
He is
won't
a
be ass.
situational.
Jalen Hurts gets the rushing touchdowns. Honestly, that's all
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, he had 17 carries, man. Like I would love that as for my RB2. I don't. What happens. If you're getting 17 carries as an RB2, I'm happy with that. I think
I don't know that I'm like, and I don't like. You're not ecstatic that he's your RB2, but
that's
I don't
20
think you're
touches in
panicked.
that game.
I don't think you're panicked at all. To me,
Yeah, I don't either. And like, if you
So what would you want to trade him for? Let me ask you that. Be like, if you owned Miles Sanders, what would you take for him right
I
now?
don't think anybody wants him,
I was thinking about adding him into that big deal I just did.
but you didn't.
That's true. I did Kenneth Walker instead. No, it was
Yeah, you'd rather. Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't a choice between those two.
I would like. Would you trade Antonio Gibson for him?
No.
I'd rather have Gibson.
Yeah.
Wow,
Keep
that's
going.
very telling for me. I don't even know who else to bring up. ETN,
Well, it's gonna have to be people outside of the
Well,
top
ETN
24,
does.
obviously. I think
ETN or Sanders?
Sanders.
I go ETN because I just hope I have hope that he's going to come around.
I can't believe you
Sanders.
both took Gibson.
Why? Gibson gets like we don't know what as of now we don't know what Brian Robinson will be in this offense. And until we're shown differently, you have to keep going with Gibson. Gibson hasn't been great, though. 4.1, 2.0, 3.2 are his yards per carry. And that was a lot like last year. But here's the thing. Already has 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's like RB 13 or 14, I think.
Yeah, he had a great week
I just
receiving.
think it's crazy with how much like slander is on Antonio Gibson and how much hate.
He's not that good of a runner, though. But like for fantasy, you're right. But as far as a running back goes, he's not great.
Let me think.
But Miles Sanders is the opposite, right? Like for fantasy.
So this will be a pretty
really
gross
good.
one. Let's say Michael Carter or Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, easy for me, easy.
I mean, does Breece Hall change it if it's Breece Hall instead?
Not really, because I don't want the Jets split backfield. I know it's been fine. I know it's fine.
I kind of
You'd rather have Breece?
Yeah,
I kind of want the Jets backfield
because actually this is one of those moments.
You want the Jets backfield with Joe Flacco.
Yes, exactly.
Breece Hall is getting
touches.
No, he's getting touches, but like really. There's upside there. There's promise. We're seeing like Sanders is like locked in with what we're looking at, and like
that's true. Breece probably has more upside. I'll give you that.
Okay, so I was gonna say
currently.
Cordarrelle or Sanders, but I feel like the answer is Cordarrelle.
Yeah, it's Cordarrelle.
Okay, and so then I guess last one, let's go with Singletary or Sanders.
Oh, I think that's the closest because they're almost the same. They almost like Singletary has always kind of looked like a good running back and just has Josh Allen vulturing and everything.
I think they are equal. Like the same fantasy player for sure.
Yep.
I would agree.
It's funny because their fantasy points right now 36.4, 35.5.
So they've been, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how to pick between the two. There's nothing. You're not gaining or losing anything with that trade. All right.
But I feel like that was very telling because I feel like you guys said one thing, and then when it came down to picking between guys.
But you listed off a bunch of guys we said we'd start. And then when we said we'd start the guy that we put right in that group, you had a problem with it.
Whatever.
Breece Hall is like spots ahead of Miles Sanders. Antonio Gibson is RB12. Like Brian was just giving.
Yes, but these are guys like Antonio Gibson is not a guy that people feel good about.
No, like a lot of I'm not gonna say all those guys, but like we're definitely talking a lot of probably low end RB2s. I mean, it's like not a fun territory, but that's definitely true. Like I'm not
you'd rather have Dobbins than Miles Sanders.
I would, but Mario wouldn't.
Probably not.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Their run game has looked ass, but I probably wouldn't.
I really do believe Miles Sanders is a good player.
I do too, but he's on the Eagles and they hate him.
Get this outro.
Jalen Hurts and them TDs.
Them big old.
He's got a big Jalen Hurts problem.
Who? Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
We're cutting out.
Yep.
Hello. You're cutting out too. Why does this outro do this to us? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. What are you talking about?
Oh, perfect. Check us out on Twitter at DadBodFS, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, DadBod Fantasy Squad. And we'll be posting the recordings to DadBod Fantasy Squad on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever the last one is. For Brian, for Mudcat Cody, peace.
Can you make it so I can push this off the screen at the end? Is that
yes. Dragon Ball Z style?